Coming up, with less than a week to go until the midterm elections, millions of Americans have taken advantage of early voting. In Brazil, Bolsonaro speaks for the first time after voters return Lula da Silva to office in a tight runoff election. And for the sixth time this year, the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates. Plus, a look at your Plattsburgh weather and entertainment news tonight on PS News.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jamie Goodrow.
And I'm Joe Mason. Our top story tonight, with less than a week to go, early voting is in its final stretch, and a lot of people have already cast their ballots. Addison Research and Catalyst say nearly 28 million people in 46 states have taken advantage of early voting. That's outpaced early voting numbers in the 2018 midterm election. But it's too soon to tell if our overall turnout will reach historic levels. So far, more than 3 million votes have been cast in both Texas and Florida, 2.7 million in California, and nearly 2 million in Georgia. Some states with a surge in early ballots have changed election rules since the last midterms. For example, Virginia, Vermont, and Michigan expanded access to mail ballots. Early voting in New York will continue until Sunday, November 6th. Election Day is next Tuesday, November 8th. For more information, log on to the State Board of Elections website at elections.ny.gov.
Brazil's outgoing president, Jair Bolsonaro, broke his silence Tuesday about the presidential elections results. Bolsonaro lost his re-election bid to former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Voters returned da Silva to office with 50.9% of the vote, while Bolsonaro had 49.1%. In the weeks leading up to the Sunday runoffs, Bolsonaro insisted on unfounded election claims of electoral fraud and unfair treatment by the media. In a short speech Tuesday, Bolsonaro did not concede defeat, nor did he contest the vote result. He thanked those who voted for him and also signaled that he would cooperate with the transfer of power. Pro-Bolsonaro protesters have blocked roads across the country since the election results were announced Sunday, causing major delays and disruption. Federal and state police have been working to clear the roadblocks since Monday.
Russia says it's now rejoining the UN-brokered grain export deal with Ukraine. That means Moscow will now guarantee safe passage for cargo ships traveling from Ukrainian ports through the Black Sea, and hundreds of thousands of tons of food exports can go where they're most needed. It's a sudden about-face just days after Russia said it was suspending its participation, and it comes after Russia's president spoke with his Turkish counterpart on Wednesday.
And to give them credit, actually, both sides took a very constructive approach after seeing that suspending this agreement will be in everybody's loss, or it will cost them dearly. And as a result, they've come back to the agreement. And after the call with President Putin and President Erdogan, now we have everything back on track.
The January 6th committee is in discussion with former President Trump's attorney testifying under oath in its probe of Capitol breach. That's according to the vice chairwoman of the panel, Congresswoman Liz Cheney of Wyoming. Trump has until Friday to respond to the committee's subpoena for documents. And until November 14th for testifying, it was previously reported that Trump's lawyers had received the subpoena. Cheney's comments are the first indication talks between the two sides have begun. The panel subpoenaed Trump's last moments, seeking a wide array of documents and for Trump to sit for an interview under oath. A letter from the committee accompanying the subpoena painted Trump as the central figure to the plan to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election.
The Federal Reserve raised interest rates again today by another 0.75 percentage point. This is the fourth straight rate hike of that amount. The decision comes as inflation levels continue to plague the U.S. economy, pushing the cost to borrow money up even further. Mortgage rates hit almost 20-year high. The inflation is triggering concerns of a possible recession. Fed Chair Jerome Powell acknowledged those concerns, but said persistent inflation would bring greater economic suffering than a recession would. And the Fed isn't done yet. It's likely to enact another 0.5 percentage hike in December. Coming up after the break, New York City is preparing for its first full-scale marathon since the beginning of the pandemic, and an Arizona judge has ruled against the unofficial group patrolling ballot drop boxes in the state. Stay with us.
This is Kinks, which stands for Collectively Inspiring Natural Hair Students. We like to promote people to embrace their natural hair and just love who they are. Every spring semester we have a hair show, so if you're interested in modeling, hairstylist, and a makeup artist, this is something to look forward to every spring.
Welcome back. The world's largest marathon is set to return to New York City on Sunday with pre-pandemic numbers. 50,000 runners are expected for the New York City Marathon. They will pass through all 5 of New York City's boroughs and cross this finish line in Manhattan Central Park. Earlier today in New York City, police said that there are no credible security threats, but they are still prepared. The NYPD Counterterrorism Bureau will secure the entire 26.2-mile course with heavy weapons teams, explosive detection cannies, and bomb squads. The New York City Marathon was canceled in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It returned in 2021 with around 33,000 runners.
Attorneys for the Trump family are asking a judge to transfer the New York Attorney General's $250 million fraud case against the Trump Organization. Lawyers for the former president, his 3 eldest children, and their organization are due in court Thursday. They are set to argue over New York Attorney General Letitia James' request to impose a monitor to oversee the Trump Organization's financial statements and to block the real estate company from transferring any assets unless approved by a judge. In an emergency filing Wednesday, Trump's attorneys asked the judge to move the case to the Commercial Division of New York State Courts, which they claim is mandated by statute. They also asked for a temporary restraining order, pausing the litigation until it's decided where the case should be held. The AG's lawsuit alleges that Trump and his organization defrauded insurers and lenders by giving false financial statements when obtaining loans and policies. The Trumps have denied any wrongdoing and called the lawsuit politically motivated.
An Arizona judge has issued an order restricting how a right-wing group can control drop boxes. It comes after voters accused the group Clean Elections USA of aggressively patrolling ballot boxes. The group is now banned from openly carrying guns or wearing body armor within 250 feet of drop boxes, speaking to or yelling at voters who are dropping off their ballots, photographing or filming voters at drop boxes, and posting similar images online. The ruling is for a partial win the civic organizations and liberal groups that sued Clean Elections USA, which has claimed the 2020 election was rigged and that its drop box stakeouts are needed to prevent massive voter fraud in the 2022 midterms.
CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart have tentatively agreed to pay at least $12 billion to settle opioid lawsuits. According to Bloomberg, the lawsuits were brought by state and local governments. They allege that retailers mishandled prescriptions of opioid painkillers. More than 3,000 lawsuits have been filed against pharmacies, opioid manufacturers, and distributors, accusing them of downplaying the addiction risks of opioids and also failing to stop the pills from being used illegally. Data shows the opioid crisis has claimed more than 500,000 lives over the past 2 decades, 80,000 of those in 2021 alone. When we come back, we'll take a look at your Plattsburgh weather and entertainment news. Stay with us, everybody.
Dance corps makes me feel confident.
Dance corps means to me family.
Dance corps is motivating.
Dance corps means new friends.
Dance corps means old friends.
Dance corps means unity.
Dance corps means creativity.
Dance core means love.
Dance core is fun.
Dance core means friendship.
Dance core is exciting.
Dance core is my support system.
Dance core is my favorite thing.
What am I looking at here? It's a spaceship. From where? From space? All right, people, let's hit these guys with some PSTV. Did not work.
Probably because it's a TV station and not a laser.
Welcome back. I'm Zebulon Ducharme, and here's a look at your Plattsburgh weather. Starting off with the overall temperature, today's highs actually, going from right to left stays around mid-50s, going from the right of Lake Champlain to the west and further beyond, with a high of 59 in Plattsburgh being the highest in the region. Moving on to your 5-day forecast, we should see things warm up a little bit. Starting off with tomorrow, on Thursday, 62, some patchy fog before 8 a.m., but otherwise pretty sunny. That sunshine continues through as we approach the end of the week. And it's Friday, still stays sunny, high 64. We do start to see some clouds as we move into the weekend. There's the word. Saturday and Sunday jumps up to 70, goes back down to 68 with a 50% chance of showers on Sunday. Monday, the sky is clear with a high of 66. That's all for your weather. I'm Zebulon Ducharme. Now back to Joe and Jamie at the desk.
Thanks, Zeb. Subway understands that being sandwiched in the middle seat isn't an ideal travel situation. So for National Sandwich Day, they're offering free subs for those stuck in the so-called sandwich seat on a flight. Tomorrow, November 3rd, travelers can upload a photo of themselves in the middle seats for a chance to win a free footlong. The submission site is only open for one day, but the restaurant is planning to give away 10,000 gift cards for free footlongs. Subway is also offering a buy one get one free promo code if you're not traveling alone, on the National Sandwich Day.
It's called the Planet Killer. As beautiful as this illustration is, what it shows is terrifying. A massive asteroid orbiting near Earth, lit up by the brilliance of the sun. In the Astronomical Journal on Monday, astronomers said they spotted an asteroid that's more than a mile wide that had been lurking undetected within the glare of the sun. As one of the scientists put it, if an asteroid that big hit Earth, quote, it would be a mass extinction event like hasn't been seen on Earth in millions of years. Well, they say it wouldn't happen for centuries, and even then, scientists don't know the asteroid's orbit with enough precision to say how dangerous it actually could be in the future. Still, the team expects to find more planet-killer asteroids over the next couple of years. Already, more than 27,000 near-Earth asteroids have been identified in all shapes and sizes. No asteroids are currently on a direct impact course with Earth, but detecting the threat of near-Earth objects that could cause massive damage is a primary focus of NASA and other space organizations around the world. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the world of entertainment with your PS Entertainment Update. Here's John Cargiuelo.
John? Thanks, Joe. Swifties, rejoice! Taylor Swift is going on tour. The singer announced the news Tuesday on social media. Her Eras tour will kick off in Arizona on March 18th. Swift says the performance will be a journey through the musical eras of her career, both past and present. She will have stops across the U.S. and wrap up August 5th in Los Angeles. Swift has been breaking chart records with her recently released Midnight's album. She's now the first artist to simultaneously claim all top 10 spots on the Billboard Hot 100 list. Tickets for the Eras tour go on sale November 15th. Best-selling author Judy Powell has passed away at the age of 49. Powell died October 26th at her home in New York. She's best known for chronicling her efforts to prepare every recipe in Julia Child's Mastering the Art of French Cooking, which later inspired the 2009 movie Julie and Julia. The film starred Meryl Streep as the iconic cookbook author and television personality, alongside Amy Adams as Powell. Powell's husband told the New York Times her death was caused by cardiac arrest. A historic moment on Broadway yesterday. The late actress and singer Lena Horne has now become now has a theater named after her. The Brooks Atkinson Theater was renamed in her honor on Tuesday. She is the first black woman to have her name etched on a theater on Broadway. Horne has a star on stage and screen, and in a career that spanned 70 years. She also is a civil rights activist. Horne died in 2010 at the age of 92. Her granddaughter, screenwriter Jenny Lumet, told the crowd that gathered outside the theater to follow her grandmother's message in life: be inspired and make more art and believe. Twitter's new billionaire CEO, Elon Musk, reiterated Tuesday night that accounts suspended from the platform will not return right away. Twitter will not allow anyone who was deplatformed for violating Twitter rules back until we have a clear process for doing so. He added that the process could take weeks. That means users, including former President Donald Trump, likely will not be able to rejoin the social media site before the midterm elections. Last week, Musk announced the formation of a content moderation council that would guide decision-making on user bans and policing of the platform. That council will reportedly include groups from the civil rights community and those who face hate-fueled violence. That's all from entertainment. I'm John Carduello. Now back to the desk with Joe and Jamie.
Thanks, John. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us.
To stay up to date with PS News and all of Plattsburgh State TV, be sure to follow at Plattsburgh State TV on all social media platforms. I'm Jamie Goodrow.
And I'm Joe Mason. As always, thank you for joining us, and have a good night, Plattsburgh.